Welcome to the Traditional Way podcast presented by the Martial Arts Center Network. I am Brett Shumway. We appreciate all the support the network gets, and we hope that you all continue to like, share, and comment on this show and all the programming we have on the network. On this episode, we're going to cover the Karate One Series A event that took place in Larnaca, Cyprus on February 14th through the 16th. Now, this has been a record-breaking year for the Series A when it comes to participation. This event had over 1,100 athletes representing 86 countries, which adds to the 1,000 or so competitors that we saw in Tbilisi to start the year. And once you figure in that there's only 14 divisions per event, that's a lot of athletes per category. Now, 2024 averaged 943 athletes per event, so we are consistently seeing over 60 to 100 more athletes this year so far. Now, the Series A is a stepping stone to the Premier League. A lot of athletes in Larnaca are right on the cusp of breaking into that next step, while others are still gaining points and experience looking to make their marks within their respective divisions. Either way, these divisions are huge, and it takes a lot of work to break out of the pack and set yourself apart. A ton of talent is hidden amongst these brackets. Let's take a look at the results from Larnaca. In the minus 50 kilogram division, Ryan Sekor breaks out to win her first WKF medal as the young Algerian had a tough time getting to the final. She had a lot of close fights moving up through the bracket, and the final would be no different as she won that matchup 1-0. Now, one of the athletes that are right on the cusp of moving up to the Premier League is Fatima Sadati, and she was the top notch in the minus 55 kilogram division as she would not have a point scored against her until the final, as she put on a masterful performance at this event, outscoring her opponents 35-2. She won the gold medal matchup 5-2, which again was the closest anyone came to beating her at this event. The minus 61 kilogram division saw a Series A debut in Rama Toba, which I find very surprising because she has already had a great career, and I would have thought that she would have made an appearance on the Series A earlier than this. She is the reigning U21 world champion and steps into the veterans division for the first time, taking gold in the final matchup, winning that fight 1-0. Another Youth League veteran shines in the minus 68 kilogram division as Hannah Rydell looks to move up into the rankings, where she currently sits at number 44 place in the veterans division entering this event and is the world number 1 in the U21 age category. Now, to start out, she stumbled out of the gate winning her first matchup by Senshu, but then found her stride, cruising to the final where she'd win that by a score of 4-0. And in the over 68 kilogram division, we find Shani Dunsell, who is trying to get back to the Premier League as the number 41 ranked athlete, is attempting to break back into the top 32. Now, one thing about Shani is she's a puncher. So, and a matter of fact on that, she has not registered a Waza Ari or Ippon in competition since the WKF started tracking these stats. So as expected, all of her fights are close, winning most of them by 1 or 2 points, and the final and the over 68 kilogram division would be no different, as she would defeat her opponent 2-1. Now we move into what is easily the most stacked division talent-wise at this event. The female kata division saw a lot of great performances, but at the end, it was Fatima Dastak who came out on top as she would win her second series gold of the year. She cruised through the bracket, winning all of her matches by an average of 1.7 points through the first 5 matches. The final was closer, but her performance of Paparin was enough to secure the match by 0.6 points. In the team kata division, it was a very close final matchup between France and Hong Kong. But in the end, it was the French team, made up of Leah Severin, Marie Bowie, and Mai Ling Bowie, that would take the match, as their performance of Unsu was enough to edge out the Tamari Basai of their opponent by 0.1 points. The men would start with a breakout performance in the minus 60 kilogram division, where Guido Schiante would not just win his first gold in the veterans division, he would win his first match. After stepping up to the veteran age category 6 months ago, he has not found much success as he's transitioned up in age. However, he did find his stride at this event, where he edged out a win in the final matchup 1-0. What a run Adel O'Mara has had in the minus 67 kilogram division. After turning 18 a year ago, he has put on a show, winning the world title in the U21 division and now securing his second gold this year within the Series A. He's on pace for a Premier League appearance very soon, as he took the final matchup at this event 5-0. The minus 75 kilogram division saw the return of Morteza Namadi, who hasn't been active since April of 2023, but he made a statement at this event, outscoring his opponents 27-8 en route to the final match where he would pull out a victory in a close matchup by a score of 1-0. Now we'll have to wait and see if he returns to more events or if this was just a one-off. Another win in the Series A this year for Edard Gasparian in the minus 84 kilogram division, as he would see a couple of close matchups in the elimination pools, and specifically in rounds 1 and 4, where he would edge out his opponents by 1 point. The rest of the bracket wouldn't be able to match him, as he came out the victor in the final matchup 3-0. The over 84 kilogram division would see a first-time winner in Ivan Kudsinow. Now, he would secure his first WKF medal, as he would have a tough fight to get out of the elimination pool, where he defeated the number 22 ranked fighter Mahmoud Namadi, who came into this event with an unheard of 92.3% win rate. That fight ended 6-5 for a victory for Ivan and catapulted him into the finals, where he took the final matchup 2-0. In the Kata division, it came down to an all-Japan final where Kotaro Ohara would win a matchup of Super Empe, which both athletes chose to run. Ohara would pull out this victory by a half point and win his first WKF medal in his third event. Now, men's team Kata came down to Kuwait versus Germany in a battle of Unsu, where the Kuwaiti team of Mohammed Hussein, Salman Al-Mosawi, and Mohammed Al-Mosawi would pull out the victory by a half point to secure the gold medal. One has to think that a couple of these athletes are on their way to the Premier League in the near future. Adele O'Mara, Hannah Rydell are the first two that come to mind, as their performances this year should be enough to move them into a high enough position to qualify. I would like to say with confidence that Edard Gasparian would also see a spot in the Premier League, but his situation is a little different. He doesn't represent a country because of the IOC rules on not allowing Russia or Belarus to be represented. He competes as an individual neutral athlete. And although he is listed as number 23 ranked fighter in the rankings, his profile doesn't show a ranking for him. And I'm not sure how the WKF deals with these athletes as to their rankings and qualifications for the Premier League. I cannot find any information on this within their rules that would prevent it, but I've also not seen any individual neutral athletes in the Premier League either. So as soon as I get any information on this, I will bring it to you. But one athlete that I would foresee moving into the Premier League, and an athlete I want to highlight, is Fatima Dastak. And for her, it'll be a return to the Premier League, as she has been there in the past. So let's take a look at her results. She's had 2 Series A golds this year. Also in her career, she's got 4 bronze medals at her Continental Championships. Now, some may think, oh yeah, okay, she's got bronzes. Why only bronzes? Well, let's be clear. She's in the Asian continent. So her competition over the past 4 years has been the world's number 1 and 2 within the division. She's had to deal with the likes of Grace Lau, Maho Ono, Hikaru Ono, and Kiyu Shimizu. So she's had a very tough road to attempt to see the top of the podium at that event. However, I do see her making an impact on this division. Now, do I think she's going to move into the top 8 quickly at her first event? Not really, but I do see her as an athlete that will progress on a consistent pace. Only time will tell. And with that, I want to thank you guys for joining me for another episode of The Traditional Way. Join me on the next episode where I'll bring you the results from the Youth League event from Fujiwara. Until then, continue to support the Martial Arts Internet Network and all of our programming. Until next time, guys.